Hey guys, this is skooterpoop here with a Hearthstone video. This is going to be a deck profile about my Hunter deck. Um, Starting Friday, I started playing Ranked, got up to 3-star Master using my Paladin deck, which I really like. But since then, I've been playing Hunter deck, and Hunter deck has been really nice. It's won a match for me while being 3-star Master, so it definitely can compete at this level. Problem with it is that it's hit or miss. It's an aggro deck. It's just a rushdown deck. Unlike Hunter OTK, which is going to get nerfed. So if you're gonna get into Hunter, you can sort of try to cheese with the Hunter OTK, but it's gonna get nerfed. Unleash the Hounds here they're gonna change something about it. It's either gonna be a -1 attack, or maybe it's gonna go up in mana. I don't know. The charge I think is still pretty relevant. I think that they still won an OTK deck, but it's just too powerful right now. But my deck is a rushdown deck, and even though I said its weakness is, it's hit or miss, it really hits most of the time. I have a very high win ratio with this deck. Alright, so here it is. So it's basically the Murlocs, standard Murlocs. They're all basic, or most of them are. The Oracle is just a raid leader for 1 mana for Murlocs. So powerful. You don't really want to play this first turn. You want to play this kind of like a raid leader. You want to play this when you have a field established. Murloc Raider is really like a really good first turn play. 1 mana 2/1 is what you want. It's pretty much the only like first turn play you really have if you go first. Bluegill Warrior is just an amazing card. 2/1 charge. Charge is so powerful. It's like a burn 2, just like straight off the bat for 2 mana. So good. Murloc Tidehunter is also really good. It doesn't have charge, but it creates a 1/1 in addition to being a 2/1. So they have more targets. They can't really burn them all. They're gonna choose the 2/1. You're still gonna have a 1/1. It doesn't seem very good, but the fact that they're like wasting their turn, and you're just gonna like still have power out, is pretty nice. So all those oracles combined, Murloc Tidehunter is obviously the best with the Grimskill Oracle. A really nice play is playing a if you have it, a Murloc Raider first turn, second turn Murloc Tidehunter, or if you go second, you coin out the Murloc Tidehunter. But if you go first, you Murloc Raider, then you Murloc Tidehunter, and then third turn you play like a Grimskill Oracle to give them all +1 attack, as well as Bluegill Warrior. And that's right there. It's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Not counting the damage that you did the second turn. So this has a lot of damage potential. That's probably not going to happen most of the time, but you still have a lot of ways to pump damage. The only other Oracle I have, Murloc I have, is the Oracle, Cold Light Oracle. It counts as a Murloc, so it still benefits from all, the effects of Grimskill Oracle. But I would put this card in anyway. This is like your draw. A lot of times rushdown decks, the reason this exists is basically Murloc was designed to be a rushdown deck. And the fact that you can lose steam if you just don't go for the win, Cold Light Oracle helps you get the cards you need for the win. A lot of times I'll just not have just enough damage to kill him, and I'll just like Cold Light Oracle, draw into burn or something. So Cold Light Oracle, or Charger, Charger is very strong. It's like a burn. A little less strong because Taunt stops it, but Cold Light Oracle, if I had to, I'd probably actually, I don't know if I'd put a second one in. Seems really good at 1. So what else do I have? Let's go over some spells. I have 2 Arcane Shots, of course. They're so good. They're good for if they have any sort of, they try to play a defender. Not really a 1/1. You don't really want to use them on 1/1s, but if they play like better cards that are just gonna kill your features, like a 3/2. Lots of people use 3/2s. You just want to get those out of the way. 2/2s too. You just want to get them out of the way so that you can continuously hit with your creatures. And a lot of times you end up not using them because people don't have such great early game, or you're able to deal with it with your creatures alone. And if that's the case, Arcane Shot is just a surprise extra damage. Your hero ability is going to hit for 2, like a lot at the end game. So if he has like 6 life, he's going to be like, oh, I'm on a 3-turn clock. But Arcane Shot will actually make that 1 less turn. So Arcane Shot's very, very strong. It's also just 1 mana, so it lets you do a lot of things in 1 turn. Tracking is amazing. I just got my 2nd gold tracking. A lot of people use this card wrong though. People use this card first turn, and they just like get like a card, and I mean that's not really that important. You don't need to prioritize early first turn before you even know what they have. It's just not important. What you want to do is you want to play other things, and then 4th, 5th turn, if you have an extra mana, which you probably will, then you're tracking, and you try to find something that can help your current situation, help you push for the win pretty soon. That's really what it's used for. If you've ever played Magic the Gathering, there's a card Brainstorm. What Brainstorm is the same thing as 1 mana, and you draw 3, and then you have to take 2 cards from your hand and put them on top of your deck. And obviously that's not like as great because you're not getting rid of those cards. You're putting the cards back on top of the deck. You know what you're going to draw, and you're just going to draw into it again. So really, what the point of Brainstorm is to dig for an answer, or it's something you need in that situation, and that's what I feel tracking is. So you have to be more efficient with tracking. Obviously, if you mulligan and you had a bad hand, you want a tracking first turn, because if you don't start well, then you're just going to lose most of the time. But other than that, you really don't want a tracking early. I have 1 freezing trap because it's the only trap I have, I think. I probably wouldn't play snipe, but I would play explosive shot sometimes, maybe just 1, I don't know. Freezing trap's my only trap. But it has won me so many games, it's ridiculous. It's better than explosive trap for this kind of deck, because what ends up happening is you'll have explosive trap makes it so that whenever you get attacked, your hero gets attacked, it'll deal 2 to everything they have. Freezing trap will activate as soon as their minion attacks anything. So if they try to deal with your field, which they will, it'll just return it. I had a game against a paladin, I think, where I just played early aggro, and he like second turn coined out a harvest golem, and I just like put a trap, hit for more things, whatever, played like a 2-1 charger, just hit him in the face really hard, and when he attacked, it got sent back to his hand, and it was just pointless. It was so good for me. Stalled really hard. He went very minus on that play. Freezing trap has won me the game on several occasions. It's definitely, I like one freezing trap. I might even play 2 if I had another. Ironbeak Owl, the silence is really important. I don't know if I'd play more than 1, but sometimes it's just really important. Like, if they have a taunter, your field gets way weaker. You really don't want to face taunters. So sometimes you'll end up pumping and just killing their taunter and sacrificing a minion, but if you can just silence it like late game and just like push your minions to deal a lot of damage for close to the win, it's way more worth it. Ironbeak Owl is sort of also your out just in case they Blessing of Kings or pump, stuff like that. Just resetting some damage so that they can't really kill you, deal with you as easily. It can also silence effects that they put on your guys, if they humility, if they, which I mean is really not that important, but can be. If they Blessing of Wisdom to try to draw cards off it, you can always do that. So Ironbeak Owl is very versatile, and it's a beast. Being a beast is very important. Not as much for this deck as other decks, but really the only thing it really applies to is Kill Command. But I'll get to that in a second. Oh, actually, no, I'll get to that in a second. Animal Companion is just an amazing card in this deck. It's good like almost all the time. A lot of times what hunters, OTK hunters will do is they'll play an Animal Companion and they'll get a 4/4 Taunter, which is very nice because you just want to stall out and deal some damage, control their field. So in that situation, a 4/4 Taunter is very nice. Or a 4/2 Charger. The 4/2 Charger is very powerful also. Hit for another 4 damage and make your OTK way more reliable, as well as the fact that they're probably just going to hit something into it and lose a creature. But the third creature for the Animal Companion is a 2/4 with a Raid Leader effect. Obviously it's better than Raid Leader because it's 2 more health and it's the same exact card. Except maybe it only affects beasts? I think it affects all your creatures. I think it works on Murlocs too, so I think it affects everything. But in Hunter OTK, that card really is not very good. This deck that's not true. I use Raid Leaders, so getting that guy can sometimes just like win me the game harder than the other cards. I'd probably most rather have the 4/2 charge, but having a 4/2 Taunter is also really, really good, especially if they have a big field. You're going to benefit no matter what. So that's the good thing about Animal Companion in this deck, is you benefit from it no matter what, as opposed to Hunter OTK where you only benefit from like 2 out of 3. And yeah, it's just really good. Coining out like a 4 power creature, whether it's 4/4 Taunter or 4, just coining it out no matter what is really good. If you had like a Murloc Raider first turn, it's so good. You can hit for like 3 damage or whatever, 7 damage or just 2 and have the Taunter. So Kill Command, I wish I could find room for a second. I really, really wish I could. I'll probably do some experimenting and see if I can fit it in, because this card just wins games really hard. This deck has a lot of rushdown potential. Usually, like the strategy with Hunter OTK is they'll ping with their hero ability to get you low enough while controlling your field to just kill you in 1 turn. Whereas this is like the reverse. This plays as aggressively as possible for the beginning of the game, and then at the end of the game tries to ping you to death, which I think is sort of what the whole idea of Hunter was based on in the first place. The hero ability is just like really powerful for ending games. So, kill command, sometimes I use it to kill like a Senjin Shield Master or Yeti, something that's very, very tough. Sometimes you just need, sometimes I don't even have a beast and I just have to hit for 3 damage. But there are many times when this card just comes in handy for the win. If they have like 5 health left and I draw it, if I Cold Light Oracle into it, I can just hit for 3 and then ping them for 2 and it's game. If they're at 7, if I have a beast out, it's just the same thing for 5 damage instead. Kill command is just such a strong nuke card. It's control, it's burn, it's like what you want. It's like Arcane Shot but bigger. It's 2 more mana, but it's just a bigger Arcane Shot. So I'm probably going to try to do some experimenting to fit a second one in. It's also basic, which is really nice. Cold Light Oracle I went over. Raid Leader is pretty obvious. Not the best card. I really would prefer other cards, but sometimes Raid Leader just adds the damage you need it to. You play a Raid Leader and you have like Murlocs out or something, and they need to prioritize Raid Leader. And that's pretty good. Not the best card, but not the worst card. Razorfen Hunter is there for a ton of reasons. This card is like so good in this deck. It's 1 mana more than the Murloc Tidehunter for almost the same thing. Here you're getting like 3-2 altogether, and here you're getting 3-4 altogether. You're getting 2 more health for that 1 mana. And another important thing is the fact that you're getting a boar. So the Murlocs, you get the Murlocs, and they all benefit from that, but the boar can help you get kill commands. I have definitely done, 6th turn, play the Hunter, get a boar, and then hit for 5 to the face. And then they're in range of death for like 2 mana, whatever. So, Razorfin Hunter is very versatile. It's also really good because having multiple creatures is really strong with all these pump effects like Raid Leader, or the Animal Companion that boosts, stuff like that. Very, very powerful card in this deck. Shattered Sun Cleric is amazing. It's so good. People use it in top tier all the time. A very strong play is being able to play a Murloc Raider first turn, and then second turn coining out a Shattered Sun Cleric, pumping it up, hitting for 3, and then having 6 damage on the field. That's third turn. You can get them to 21, and if you use your ability to 19. Very, very powerful card. The fact that this is it's basically kind of like 3 mana for 4/4. So it's obviously very strong. You want to play this especially against Mage. If you don't have this card against Mage, you pretty much lose. If you have Murlocs early game, and then you just like play a Sun Cleric and make it so that they can't really ping it as easily, they just are like, what do I do? They'll like Frostbolt the Cleric, and the counter remains. So really, really strong card, especially against Mage. So then we get to sort of the 4-drops. Multi-Shot doesn't seem like the best card for a Rushdown deck, but a lot of times they put out Taunters or Blockers, or maybe even try to counter rush you. And the Multi-Shot just deals with those very easily. One of my favorite things to do is, like I'm facing a Shaman, and a Shaman will just Feral Spirit, and I'll just Multi-Shot. And he'll not only have like wasted that mana, that turn, and that card, but he'll actually have overloaded so that it hurts him next turn. Multi-Shot is just very good. It hits 2 cards. The only problem with it is that it can't hit 1 card. If he just has 1 creature, you can't Multi-Shot. So it sort of requires your opponent to have multiple cards out, but he usually will. At some point. If you're facing a Shaman or a Paladin, it works really well because he can always just make one with his ability. So yeah, Multi-Shot's just really good, wins you a lot of games. The 3 damage is also very, very nice. Lots of creatures have 3 health, and they're really hard to get over sometimes without sacrificing creatures, so the Multi-Shot just wins you games a lot. So then the last 4 mana cards are all creatures, and they all pretty much either pump or damage right away. Dark Iron Dwarf, 4 mana for a 4/4, pumps 2. It's like 4 mana for a 6/4 basically. Very, very powerful card. The fact that it just like comes out as a 4/4 and then like is probably just gonna burn 2 to like either a Taunter or just the enemy, whatever. If they have like a stronger defense, you can just like pump a 1/1 and hit for 3. Divides your power so that like if you have like a 4/4 Taunter, or the Taunter from the Animal Companion, and you pump like a 1/1, then that's just like so well protected. He has to go through the 4/4 to get there. It's just a very, very powerful card for this deck. I only have 1. I'm not sure if I would play another. I kind of like this deck the way it is, but whatever. Defender of Argus, I would definitely, I think, play 2 if I had. Maybe even in place of a Dark Iron Dwarf. Defender of Argus is very, very powerful. It's like a combination of Sun Fairy Protector and Shattered Sun Cleric. It's basically just 1 mana more than a Sun Cleric, but for the ability ×2 and for taunt to both of them. So that's like super plus. I think this card should really be epic, but whatever. So Defender of Argus is really good a lot of times, and because of the fact that it's adjacent minions, Razorfin Hunter and Murloc Tidehunter both make a minion, so a lot of times you'll just like play both in one turn and just have like taunters out, and it's really good. And the last card in the deck is somewhat of an MVP. They're all pretty much MVPs, but this card is just such a problem for opponents to deal with. It's 2 mana more than the Bluegill Warrior 2-1 charge, and for that 2 additional mana, you're getting 4 health. It's ridiculous how good this card is. You can kill creatures if they try to defend, if they have like a fairy dragon, whatever. You just play this and you can just kill anything. There are a couple of ways to look at this card. One is, I really like to look at them both ways. Let's look at, what's his name? Ironforge Rifleman. So Ironforge Rifleman is 3 mana for 2/2 that can kill a 1 toughness creature. That's essentially what it is. I mean, it has other uses. It can hit the opponent for 1. It can just damage something for 1. But a lot of times when you play Ironforge Rifleman, you're just killing a 1 toughness creature. And this card is really similar. A lot of 2 toughness creatures have 3 damage, whether it's Sorcerer's Apprentice, Knife Juggler, Fairy Dragon, Raptor, whatever. There's a lot of 3/2s. And this is like 1 mana more than Rifleman for a card that kills a 2 toughness creature, and afterwards is going to be a 2/2, kind of like the Rifleman. So for 1 more mana, you kill a 1 more toughness creature. And just like the Rifleman, it has other uses too. The fact that it can just hit for 2 if you need it to, the fact that it has charge is amazing. You can just be very aggressive, hit them for 2 right away. It's very, very powerful. The other way I like to look at this card is like a Yeti, which a lot of people I don't think get. Where's the Yeti? So the Yeti is a 4/5. Nobody can question how good it is. If people can deal with it, they'll usually deal with it right away, and it'll maybe trade for like 2 cards. You know, it's very strong. Nothing wrong with that card. The fact that this card has charge means it's probably going to hit for 4 damage. Almost definitely going to hit for 4 damage. It's going to come in, hit for 2, and then if they're going to try to attack it, they're going to hit for 2 again, and they might not even kill it. Kind of like the Yeti. Obviously, if they don't kill the Yeti, you're going to hit at like 8 damage. But this has similar sort of strength as Yeti, but it's more aggressive. It's a more aggressive Yeti. It has charge. It's very, very strong. Unless you can give the Yeti charge, like in a warrior deck or something. I think that this card is much better for a rush deck. Yeti's more mid-range. So that card can just win you games a lot of times, especially when you pump it. This card is also out of range of like 4 damage spells, 3 damage spells. This card lives a lot. Frostbolt, it survives. Flame Strike, it survives. It's just a survivor, and it's just an issue for people to deal with. It's consistently 2 damage fairly early into the game when they're already set back. So that's the deck. I think I explained it pretty well. You just you just have to play efficiently. If you play this deck and you don't have a concept of efficiency, and you just like spam cards without a reason, you're probably gonna lose. There's definitely strategy to it. You really just want to get out damage as fast as possible while still controlling their board and having your creatures not die, which is a lot to consider and can be difficult, especially against a mage who can kill a lot of your 1 toughness creatures, which I said, you know, is pretty much why the Shadow Sun Cleric is so important against the mage. But it's doable. It's very doable, and I have a really good win ratio with this deck. For the mulligan, I strongly recommend mulliganing any 4-drop pretty much, with the exception of a Stormwind Knight if your other cards are cards that you know you're going to be playing. But if you have like a Stormwind Knight, if you have like a lot of cards that you're mulliganing, you want to mulligan the Knight, just in case. If you have cards that you're going to keep, then you can keep the Stormwind Knight. But usually you mulligan the 4-drops, because you really need a strong early presence. If you don't, you're probably just going to lose. It's just the way it is. You're going to have to... Another thing about this deck, Rushdown decks in general, is you want them to be the ones responding to you. You want to play your cards, and if they don't have taunt, you just want to hit them in the face a lot of the time. The exception would be if you're facing somebody that you know has buffs, like Paladin has Blessing of Kings, you don't want him to have anything out. You don't want him to have 1/1s, anything to play a Blessing of Kings on. So you want to try to play that efficiently. Kill his 1/1s with like a Raid Leader or an Animal Companion or even a Colite Oracle, Razorfin Hunter, shit like that, Sun Cleric. You want to clear his field, but you want him to deal with you. If you're attacking into his minions, it's kind of like you're dealing less damage, and the less damage you're dealing to the opponent, the worse off you're going to be. The reason that you need to kill your opponent's cards when he has buffs, like Blessing of Kings, is because if you don't, you're going to deal less damage in the long run. But most of the time, you just want to hit him to the face. Hit him hard, hit him fast. Once he gets to like 10, you're in pretty good shape. After that, it's just 5 turns and you win with your ability. Unless you're facing someone like a warrior, in which case it's very bad. But yeah. So feel free to play around with this deck. Maybe I'll take out a Raid Leader for a kill command and see how that works, because Raid Leader is not the best card. I kind of hate getting multiple copies of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll have more Hearthstone videos in the future.